Welcome back to New Day Northwest. You could say my next guest is a big fan of walking. In 2010, he spent 242 days walking across the United States. He learned firsthand the benefits of walking, and he shared those benefits now in a new book called Walk. Slow down, wake up, and connect at 1 to 3 miles per hour. Author Jonathon Stalls joins me now. Thank you for being here.
Yeah,
thank you for sharing this cool experience in your book.
Thank you.
I mean, wow. Where did you go when you did this walk?
So started in the Delaware coast. So this was primarily a mental health journey. I had no idea what I was doing. You know, I had friends drop me off. My pack weighed 95 pounds.
Oh my goodness, that's a child.
Anybody that knows long distance hiking or walking will know that, yeah, exactly, it's too much.
Yeah.
But I just needed to walk things out for a while. So it was Delaware coast, 8.5 months west to San Francisco.
Right.
Through just about every landscape you can imagine, yeah.
Oh my, well, it must have been beautiful. I love that whole sentiment of 1 to 3 miles an hour because you really slow down and you really see the things. What do you see as the benefits of walking? How has it helped you? You mentioned mental health.
Yeah, I think, you know, there's the defaults that we often lean into in our own way, depending on our pace and our ability, around just what happens physically, what happens in the body, regulating our circulation, just the way our bodies are made to move at an unhurried pace.
Yeah.
And so there's a lot of physical benefit, but the mental health benefits, what happens in the neuroscience frameworks around creativity, reducing stress. So just 20 minutes of movement gets things literally moving on the inside too.
Yeah.
And that piece is so important. That's why I did my 8.5 month walk. I just needed to work through stuff. And having that pace, care for it in the mind is so important.
It's so key.
Yeah.
What are your favorite places to walk?
Oh gosh.
Is it like the beach? Is it the forest? Like, what is your jam?
Yeah, well, so it was forest and mountain, but this trip, so my partner and I are on a 7-week walk from Southern Oregon all the way up to Vancouver, BC. And walking the beaches for days and days and days, the early morning fog, you'll see a couple people coming in almost like ancestors visiting through the clouds, then they wave and then they're and then they're gone.
Oh my goodness.
It's special. So that's becoming the new favorite.
That's amazing. And if you've ever been out there and seen some of the very desolate areas of the Oregon and Washington coastline, I mean, it's like no one has ever touched it. No human has touched this area.
Right.
Wow. Tell us about the Pedestrian Dignity Project, something that you've done.
Yeah, so I call myself a multidisciplinary artist. So I do a lot of drawing and writing and poetry. But after the cross-country walk, I'm not a formally trained urban planner or civil engineer.
Right.
But as you move through spaces, cities, towns, and suburbs, you learn quickly how environments are really, really harmful for people who are walking or using mobility devices.
Yeah.
Because they have to. There's millions of people all around us that can't drive for any number of reasons. And so the nuances of being a pedestrian, getting from the grocery store to home to the bus stop, all these things. I would interact with people on this cross-country walk that are waiting for a bus for 2 hours or an hour in the sun without without shelter, without a bench, carrying groceries, wheelchairs or powered scooters that are in the road. I would just see it and experience it myself as a pedestrian. And so as a walking artist, I started documenting, like, how can we make, as we're talking about the benefits, how can we make it easier for everybody? But how do we also honor that there are millions who can't drive a car? And what does that mean?
It's true. I think if anyone has ever gone to a different area, I mean, sometimes we fail to realize that, but then you do realize, okay, the public transit in the city isn't great, or you notice the sidewalks are terrible here.
Right.
So what can someone do if they live in an area, like maybe a city around Western Washington, where the pedestrian availability is just horrible? What should they do?
Yeah. A couple things I always encourage. It's just start with where you are.
Okay.
Just outside your home, your workplace, or school, and just start to notice, even a grocery store, like take an extra 5 or 10 minutes to be like, what is it like if you typically drive, what is it like for anybody in my community to get here on foot or from the bus stop?
Okay.
And just start scanning and filtering, and even like, they're called walk audits, that's a formal term, but you're just kind of looking at your environment from that lens. Does it feel safe? Is it accessible? And then take some photos and report it to the city. invite other people to organize to help make a change at an intersection. But starting where you are is such an important space.
Oh my goodness, I love it. I can't wait to see what else that we find in the book. And just a reminder to you all out there, Jonathon is holding an author event tonight, which is Thursday, August 3rd at Elliott Bay Book Company on Seattle's Capitol Hill. You can ask him questions about this book and maybe even find out a walking path of your own.